All right, we are starting our podcast today, getting into some woo-woo topics around the home.
Yay.
And I feel like this is such an important topic because a lot of people are also starting to work from home. And there's a big balance of like, if you do work from home, how do you separate yourself from that?
Yeah.
And also, if you work outside of the home, then it's also like, okay, well then how do I come into my home and how do I allow my parasympathetic brain come into balance and like feel like, oh, okay, close the door from the outside world and now I'm in this world, which is my home and my space. If you're working from home, it's like, okay, let me get out of my home office. Hopefully you have one. And then how do I step out of that door and into the rest of my home and allow the rest of the home to be that like sanctuary space for you? So I feel like we decided to talk about this topic of the sacred home. Well, one, because that's my passion. That's kind of what I do for my business. And I, have loved mixing in like the spiritual charts, astrology, human design, and looking at, somebody's like, I guess maybe it's like a personality of their home, like how could your home work for you, not you work for your home? And in your human design and astrology charts, there's just certain key things that I started to notice and see that I was like, yeah, I could totally use this in bringing in these elements and it also just being very individualized.
Nice.
And different and unique because we're all unique people. We all don't, drive the same way, right? It's like everybody has a certain mojo. So it's like, understanding more about yourself and also the parts that I look at in these two charts are more so working with the subconscious. They're not like working with, these bigger things that are like in your face. They're more of like, how would your brain, your unconscious, your nervous system, how would that come into relaxation? And it's interesting that your charts will tell you that. So yes. I think just bringing in those aspects, like I like to look at the moon because that's how you are emotionally and that's how you need to feel comforted. That's how you need to feel nurtured and supported. Your Venus placement, that's like kind of would be a representative of like the things that you find beautiful. The things that, the way that you love or the way that you need to be nurtured, but not like in an emotional way. It isn't emotional, but it's more of like, but how do you nurture the beautiful things that you might enjoy or, like as an interior designer too, I mean, if you wanted to attach a zodiac sign or planet, it would be Libra, Taurus, and Venus to like design and aesthetics and look. Pisces too, because Pisces is also very creative. And then when it comes to like human design, I look at your environment style and I look at if there's, various kinds, there's shores, there's valleys, there's mountains and all that stuff. And then I also look at the arrows in your chart, in your human design chart, because those also tell a story of health. They tell us a story about how your brain works. Are you an observer? Or are you a person who your brain is always rapidly going, do you take in information easily or do you need time to like soak it all in? It's also where I get your environment. So the arrows is what tells me like your environment style, the thing that I just said earlier, shores, mountains, all that stuff, wet kitchens. And that's just a few of the things, the aspects that I look at. I mean, there's more. But those are like, if you're all curious, those are some of the things that like help me see things. A lot of it is also just intuition. So sometimes when I am working with the client and there's all these things that are coming out, but then I also have to factor in, as much as I can see somebody on paper, I don't know what the things that they need to decondition from. So it's like, you can be this way on paper, right? Like, typical, Cancer moon, right? Like however, whatever that archetype is. But then I say Cancer moon because that's me. But it's like, but maybe this person is not expressing that moon sign or totally like adapting to it because maybe there was something in the past, some trauma. Like for example, Cancer moon people are usually pretty emotional and they tend to shed their tears. They're pretty quick to like turn on the waterworks. So as somebody who is a Cancer moon, and usually most kids, I also have a daughter who's a Cancer moon, she can turn on the waterworks real quick. She always has since she was a baby. So, but when I was younger, you know, I was shamed for just always crying, you know, I was called the crybaby. So then as I got older, I had to like turn that off, or I had to feel like, oh, I can't be emotional, showing emotions. So it was being like holding in my cries, you know, as a little kid. But then as I got older, I learned to just shut that off, because that wasn't, you know, something that was seen as good.
Yeah.
So then, so let's say I'm talking to somebody that is this Cancer moon and they've hardened themselves, because Cancer represents the hermit crab, right? It's like a little crab. So maybe they're bringing in this little shell. They're like protecting themselves. They're not letting that shell break away and be free and having like that free flow of emotion, which could be sometimes tears. So it's like also, you know, looking at getting more, you know, having a conversation with the client, you know, telling them these things about themselves. And then if there's feeling a disconnect, or maybe I might even feel it just intuitively, then it's like, okay, let me look at things in a different way, or let me help them embody that a little more. And I think that's also where I love the fact that when I've been able to work with clients, that I've luckily have gotten clients that are like, okay, I don't really feel that, but you know what? I'm gonna trust you.
Okay.
And then as we go through the design process, or we go and through, you know, now creating the home, it's like, then it's like, oh, wow. Like I didn't realize like this was important, you know, it was important for, you know, me to have some moon art in the background, because I'm a Cancer moon type thing. So, so it's like bringing in those things that maybe they're not even aware of. And sometimes maybe they are fully aware of. So it's like, it's not just, you know, take a script in here. This is what you do. It's like, it's a little more detailed, because I'm also just letting the client guide me, letting my intuition guide me, and like, you know, pawing at things, you know, because I don't want to trigger people either. Like when you do readings like this, it could be triggering for people. So, you know, I'm trying to really make sure that I'm watching my tone and the way that I'm talking about things and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think the whole premise is to bring this type of stuff into the home, because I just felt like the home is our sacred temple, and we are also moving away from that in our society. But I think we've all really understood what that is since 2020.
Yeah.
And that made us all realize like, oh shit, my home looking like a hot mess really isn't fun right now, because I'm stuck in it and I can't get out of it. So I think that was a nice eye opener for people. And then it also allowed for people to work at home. But then it's like, but then there was no boundaries. Right. There was no, you know, so all these things that people didn't really have to think about or worry about or care, now they're like in our faces. And it was in my face too at one point with my family, and having to homeschool my kids and then still work. And then my husband's still having to work too. So everybody's scattered all over the house. Or also it's like the Zoom era.
Oh, where,
oh crap, everybody sees the mess behind me. So I've been working a lot with entrepreneurial women who work from home, and I've been really working with a lot of people in their home offices. Nice. And one of the biggest things is like, I want the back of my like, you know, I want the backdrop, there you go, the background to represent me. And I want that to like shine through. I don't want it just to be this blank wall. And because right, my face, the background, it represents their business, you know? And so it's like, it's like their storefront, basically, you know? And you want to have a cute storefront, because then people are like, oh, this makes me happy to turn, especially if like a coach or somebody like that, right? Like, oh, I like logging on because like she just has this fun vibe behind her and stuff. And I think people are starting to see all these things, like aesthetic does play a role. But it also plays a role in the way I see things in your unconscious mind. Like you can walk into a space and just feel like, okay, and it represents me, and it represents what I find as peace. So that's all I'm kind of like here to do, is just help people find peace in their home. And I also feel like, you know, me stepping away from real estate last year in 2024, last quarter, Q4 of 2024, and coming into 2025, it was like I knew that there was this political era that was just going to be really triggering for people. Yeah. And so another place that is safe is your home. Another place where you can find peace and remove yourself from the rest of the world is your home. So it's also bringing that mindfulness and that awareness. Like no matter what goes on the moment you step outside of that door, you have all the things in your home that make you feel safe and secure and protected. And when you don't feel like that subconsciously, your parasympathetic state is like tense. It's like locked up. And you can get so used to that, and that fight or flight that you don't even know that you're like, your parasympathetic state's like gripping on you, like, and so if you are like that in your own home, then you're never giving your body that like loosening of the muscles, that loosening of the tension, right? So it's like trying to create that with the subconscious is what I'm basically always working it with, the subconscious, because that's the part of the brain that we can't control. Yeah. But you have to be aware of it. And then even then you have to also like whisper at it all the time, because you yell at it, it's just going to go right back into this fight or flight. Right. And I think the more I think about that, it's like, even especially for women, I mean, that's like, if we're like this all the time and we're stressed out and our adrenals aren't allowing us to relax, cortisol levels aren't down, it messes up your cycle. Now you ain't sleeping at night. Yep. Now you're getting into perimenopause earlier, or, you're having hormonal imbalances. So like, it really just goes back to two things that are important to me is, one, I also see our temples as a body. So you're going to want to like eat healthy, right? Do diets. I was going to say diet this.
Cleanses and detoxes.
And ayahuascas. But like taking care of your physical body, right? That's something that I loved enjoying learning about when I was in Ayurveda school. Very much like learning about the body being your sacred temple. But then it's like, okay, but then your body is your sacred temple as well. And you got to take care of it. You got to nurture it. You got to eat good food. We got to be around good people, so that you have this like nice, healthy body, right? Nice, healthy nervous system. But then if you have this great body and then you come home and then it's like a hot mess all over, then it's like, well, I don't know. Are you getting the most benefits out of that? Out of your nice vegan diet? But if you can come home and you're taking care and you're doing all that work to like nourish your body on the inside, but your body also needs its own little capsule.
Oh, I like that.
Almost like a Russian egg. What are they
called? Oh yeah, the Russian dolls.
The egg nest dolls. It's like that. It's like, there's your soul. Egg, little Russian doll 1. Put another layer on that. The soul's inside the physical body. Okay, that's now nesting egg 2. 3 is the nesting egg of your home. And then, let's say 4 is when you walk outside of the door and whatever the world is, right? So, but you can't control the last layer, but you can control the 3rd layer, which is your home, the 2nd layer, which is your physical body, and then 3rd, the smallest one is your soul. And so it's just going back to, and I love Egypt, the ancient philosophy of Egypt, they built all these pyramids for the soul to rest and the soul to go on its afterlife and its journey. Like, that's how important they built these beautiful temples. I haven't been in one yet, but but I've learned a lot about it, especially in interior design school. I learned a lot about it, but even in art history, like all these things, like we know, like they're beautiful, beautiful temples, and they were built with like ivory, and the insides were so pretty to the tomb. Like, it literally was that nesting thing. You have your pyramid on the outside, and then within that there's the chamber, and then with that is the actual tomb, and then within the tomb there's like other little jars that like represent all these other things. So it's kind of like my aha moment was, I would say, happened in 2024, early 2024, when I was like, I'm going to play with this idea of bringing spirituality to the home.
Nice.
And that's where I thought about, okay, let's do this with real estate. And then, okay, let's do this with interior design as well. And then as the year progressed, it was like, all right, I think I'm liking the whole design aspect of it more, because it does allow, people get excited. It's like having a pretty flower arrangement. Like, who's not going to get happy over pretty flowers,
I know?
So if your flower arrangement is your home, right, then, and you make it all pretty with these cool different types of flowers that represent you, then it's like you're more likely, one, to show it off.
Oh, yes.
You're more likely to have those friends over, have the family over, or even just having like the things that you need in a space, which is like a meditation corner. Maybe you need a ritual corner, or an altar. Maybe you need a little library, like to house all your books of knowledge, and then but that little thing looks super cute and you're happy to open that up and show, look at all these books that I read, and then people are like, ooh, that's such a cute little thing, let me go open it. And like, you know, like it allows for people to see an expression of you without them asking you. Like I can tell a lot when I walk into somebody's home. I'm like, okay, I can see what kind of person you are. Like their artwork, like you're like, oh, like I'm so surprised.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever gone to a home? I know I've gone to homes a couple times that were nicely done or, you know, pretty decent. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't know this person was into that, you know, because they had maybe some artwork that was up where they had these little something, right? Something unique and different. Like you start to notice, you know, what people are into just by what they hang up or, you know, the things that they have. Now, is it all cute? Sometimes no. That's why you hire me. But at the same time, sometimes it's just representative of them.
Yes.
And I've also found that sometimes, especially with art and pictures, that people have the hardest time. Like they'll have this stash of like really good art or even good pictures, but they won't put it up.
Oh.
Because they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how, like it stops them from, you know, putting it up because they're like, well, what if I put it here and it doesn't look right? Or you know, is it going to look like it's overanalyzing in a sense?
Yeah.
So then I've also found that, you know, just having somebody that has a new, fresh eye, new, fresh perspective, you know, when working with like an interior designer, that helps take away that.
Yeah.
But I also want to go deeper. Like, okay, let's get some more art and, you know, add more of your personality. Let's solve a problem. You know, we have kids that you have kids and, you know, or animals, and you're like, well, I don't want to buy all this nice stuff if like my toddler's just going to puke all over it.
Yes.
And, you know, so then it's like, okay, but then don't wait 3 years or 5 years till your kid goes to kindergarten and then you're finally enjoying your space. Like invest in where you're at. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. You can get stuff on Amazon. You can get stuff on Wayfair. And then when you have that time to invest, then literally invest in yourself. Because really that's what your home is. It's an investment. And for some of us, if you do own, that's your biggest asset.
Yeah.
You know, it's your biggest investment. And if the more you take care of your home, and if you ever want to sell it, it's like you're going to get all that back, you know. And it's little things like changing doorknobs, like can really change your room. Adding floorboards, like
crazy
nice type of floorboards or carpet. Like there's so many little things that, you know, you can do on slowly over time where it doesn't feel overwhelming or it doesn't feel like, you know, too much to take on. But it's just, again, I think the premise is just going back to us looking at our space and feeling confident about it, feeling happy to walk into our home office or even your kitchen or your bathroom or your master bedroom. I'm sorry, your primary bedroom. Sorry.
Are we not calling it master these days?
No, not really.
Oh, I didn't know
because
that.
it has a bad context.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, actually, I could see that.
So it's primary, but I still get stuck on because, you know, when I used to show homes early on.
Oh, yes.
It was always called that. Now I'm like, oh, wait, I got to like change my brain path.
Yeah.
Like saying that. Good to know. But yeah, so primary rooms or things like that. So like this past weekend, we literally went to IKEA to shop for my daughter.
I love IKEA.
I know, I'll be loving IKEA too. It doesn't break the bank. I mean, it can, but can't.
Right.
But yeah, you can at least, and IKEA's a good example. Like you can really get some cute stuff from IKEA and like make it look really nice and like high-end Italian looking or whatever. But we went, so my daughter, when we moved into our home in San Diego, we basically had to redo her whole room because our other home in Temecula, none of the furniture was in a fit.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
And all that. So we're like, okay, let's turn your room now from toddler princess room to like, okay, now you're a little girl and, you know, this look needs to last you for a couple years. Well, fast forward now, we've been living here for 4 years, going on 5. And now she's starting to be into her teenage years. She's like, I don't like my room anymore. Just like, get my baby pictures out of here. Like, I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, all right, we're going to invest in now making your room feel like this preteen look that she wants or whatever. Nice. Because her sister also had to do all that last year for her. So yeah, we went to IKEA. You know, we picked out things together with her, her and I and her dad. And it's like, we just literally made these little small tweaks to her room and, but making it represent her. And she's getting excited. She's getting happy.
Aww.
And the thing about little kids is like, they're not like adults, like they're not like, they express a lot easier, So I'm just thinking like, like if my little 11-year-old is getting super excited about the little tweaks that we're doing to make her room, look like the phase in life that she's in right now, then why do adults not allow themselves for that either?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I remember having a conversation with my brother-in-law about his home because he was like, well, I just bought it as an investment. And I told him, I was like, yes, it's an investment, but you should also enjoy it while you're in it. Because he didn't do anything to it. And I was like, it's already have all of this value accrued to it. Right. It's gone up in value. So like, enjoy it. Maybe you'll be here another 5-10 years. We don't know, but you can enjoy it while you're in it.
Right. And I think I lived in that space before in the previous homes that I've owned. So this is the third home that I've owned. And the first two, we would wait. We would wait to like one home, the backyard was like a hot mess. So we're like, okay, we finally got some money in. We fixed it all up. And then literally I think a couple months later, we ended up moving into our house in Temecula.
Wow.
And then in Temecula, we were better at enjoying it a little more. But the room that we just put on hold was the primary.
Oh.
We lived in the shittiest looking room. Our kids had gorgeous, cute rooms.
Oh my gosh.
Cute rooms. Everything looked fine. Everything was people would come over and be like, oh my God, the daughter, their friends would come in, your room's so cute, whatever. And I'd be like, oh yes, thank you. And then I was like, but don't go to my room. Dude, it was and it also didn't represent our marriage. It didn't represent, I'm pretty sure if somebody came into our bedroom, they'd be like, dude, this couple's boring. This sucks. There's nothing in there. It's left old comforter. Hasn't been, it's not even my style. It was a quilted granny looking one.
Oh my gosh.
We just had stuff. Somebody gave us a dresser, and we weren't putting ourselves first. We were putting the kids and what it looked like to everybody else. But when it came to us, me and my husband, it wasn't in our minds, in our subconscious minds. We're like, well, it's not a priority, So then, just like in the previous house, the first house that we bought, then we're like, okay, we should probably finally do our room.
Yeah.
So we went and got all our furniture and, really made it ours. I had a cute little, corner where I had my samples and I had this little meditation table or whatever. And then, our bedroom was cute. And then I think it was 6 months later,
oh my God,
we ended up moving. But this is how crazy it was, is that every time we've moved, the person who's ever bought our homes has always said, they've benefited off of our upgrades in a sense. But we waited always to the last minute. So we did what you just said with your was it brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law, yeah.
Yeah, you do all these things, but it's then you don't even get to live in it somebody else does. So then is there a value thing? Is there a self-worthy thing? So then, it did make me be like, wow, yeah, I guess I didn't think I was worthy of having a nice room just as much as my kids had a nice room,
Damn.
Until then I was like, well, let me get out of this dumb mindset. And then literally, and I think that's also the universe was like, yeah, you ain't getting any upgrades.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing to upgrade anything? So once I did that, then guess what? We upgraded and coming here to San Diego. And does my room look cute here? No. It's a little better.
Oh my God.
But it's not it's still not, it doesn't represent.
Third time's the charm, Arlene.
I know. But I always tell my husband, I was like, watch, the moment we get everything all together, you're like, oh, now you gotta move again.
Then you upgrade to something bigger.
To something bigger and better. So yeah, what I do want to do on our home is I do want to create a little bar area up in our living room, or our kitchen, dining room area. We have a little nook that's empty, and I want to create a little bar and cafe type of thing.
Cute.
And then my room, there's just a couple things I just need to do in that room, but nothing major. But yeah, so just going back to thinking yeah, we get stuck in these patterns with our home. It's just as much as a relationship. You get stuck in a relationship, right? With your partners or whatever. But you can also get stuck in this rut with your home. And so my job is to come here and support you and helping you seeing it in a different way, but more of a spiritual way. Like more of that that like it's your church in a sense, or whatever you want to call it, whatever, your temple, church, your sanctuary, your oasis, whatever. Your she cave, like however you want to come up with that. And it's interesting because my clients teach me too. This current client that I'm working with, they're in the military and they have kids, and you know, she showed me like all of her Marine Corps like awards and stuff, and her degrees that she's also gotten. And she was like, I don't have any of this hung up. And I was like, no, you need to have that up, especially in your office. Like, this is your executive office. Yeah, maybe nobody sees it, but like your kids walk in and they see what mommy's done. Your parasympathetic mind is like, that's right, I'm a badass bitch.
I did that shit.
I did that shit. And you get that boost of even maybe just taking a glance at it one day when you feel like, for whatever reason, we all can go through these days where you just feel like shit. You need to be reminded. But how are you going to be reminded of who you are if you have everything all in the corner and hidden away, and then your brain's not, you don't remember that, you know? So visually being stimulated by sound, by but mostly by just looking, right, at things can really switch your brain into thinking different things, right? So long story short, she was like, yeah, I heard of this me wall. It's a me love wall.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, tell me more about this. And she was like, yeah, it's like this trend. And I was like, I remember this trend. And she's like, yeah, you basically pick out a corner somewhere and then it's all just you.
Nice.
You and all the things about you. And I was like, you're going to get a me wall then. We're putting this up right now. So I'm incorporating that into the space. And I guess another thing, before I jabber on for too long, another thing that was really important to me too is, I've talked about losing my daughter before. So I know like grief is a thing. And I know we all go through that. You know, you're going to maybe you have a parent that moved in that you take care of. And then unfortunately they move on into the heavens, right? They go back to God and Goddess. There's family who passes away. And especially if they lived with you in the home. I mean, I know what that felt like. It was very triggering. It was a lot of trauma. But I also know that when you can create a space and even like whatever that looks like to honor that person, it could help. But I do know what it felt like to not even be able to walk into my home without being triggered of her passing.
Yeah.
So just remembering and I think that's why I am so aware of the subconscious mind, because it's my subconscious mind that's like, it's traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my brain is trying to like not go there, but then the visuals of things is bringing me there, you know? So it's like having to, live in a home that you have to, I couldn't stay in. I was, stuck in a lease for a year. So, and I didn't have the money to break it. So it was like, ooh, what do I do with this? So what I did is to cope with things, and very Virgo tendency is I had a little patio and I literally decorated that crap with flowers.
Nice.
Like all these flowers. I had the cutest patio ever. Now, if you go into the house, it wasn't, actually even the apartment that I had was pretty cute. The bedroom, though, primary, was not. But that's where she had passed, and I did not go in there unless I needed to go get clothes or whatever. So it was just a door that was just shut off. But I do know that my balcony gave me that space of like relief, because I couldn't get out of the house. So just knowing, like, and as I've moved on to all my other homes and stuff, it's like, how can I bring this little soul that is part of our family? How can I share her, whatever. And so just little things like in my daughter's nurseries, like they would have little butterfly things, or, just little things that I knew that were, okay, this is important for me to like represent her in my home. So even when you go through something that's traumatic, and it could be various traumatic things that could happen. It could be a divorce, and you're in the home, a relationship, you and your partner, you break up, but you're still living in this home. Like there's all that energy.
Yeah.
So part of my other services, or part of the other things that I also believe in, is clearing the energy of the home, clearing space, bringing things like smokes and herbs and Florida waters and all these things, and intentionally cleaning out that energy and then also blessing it back in. So I offer that to my clients as well. I do that for each and every one of my clients. We crystal grid their home. And then we also, which I need to bring more awareness around, but astro feng shui, something that I love.
Nice.
And you can literally have these corners in your in your either your office or your whole house. And there are these little corners of feng shui. And certain corners mean certain things, like this corner over here on my right could be like my career corner. Another corner is my love corner or whatever. And it's based off of this, I might be botching the name. I think it's a Bugwa map or something like that. It's like in my head, but I can't say it. Pronounce it right. Anyways, it's a map. It's a feng shui map, but it's not the typical feng shui map.
Okay.
It's a feng shui map. Sometimes could be a square and then it has all these, like, these are your corners or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, with astro feng shui, it's more like a diamond. And then these corners represent certain houses and zodiac signs.
Oh.
So some people will just do one room versus the whole house. And some people will want to do the whole house. And you have your little corners. And so you tend to bring, like, let's say you're like, oh, this year I need more money. So you go to your money corner and you work on that, and the thing with astro feng shui is that you can do it on the new moons and the full moons because those are always different, representative of different zodiac signs. So if you do your practice in that way, then every corner is getting tended to. There's a health corner, there's a love corner, there's a career corner, there's a money corner, there's I feel like I'm missing another corner. There's a couple, I think there's 8 or 9 in total. And the interesting thing is that it is like a hexagon type looking thing. And the biggest center one is body and health.
Huh.
And then all the other corners are smaller. And it's like, oh, that makes sense because I feel like also like that is your soul. Like that's your soul. It's your body, So you have to take care of that corner.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool to also learn about that and dive deeper into it. Because for whatever reason, when I was in interior design school, I learned about feng shui and it just didn't hit me very good. Like it felt kind of restrictive. But when I learned about astrology, because y'all know I love astrology, and bringing that into it, it felt like, okay, you can bring more of your personality to it. I can get all into details. That's probably like another episode on astro feng shui, which I think would be fun. But basically, like certain corners would need more tending to based on your zodiac sign and in your birth chart versus other corners, So it's like it does start to get more individualized. And I like working with, like having things to the small, and maybe that is the Virgo part in me. We love to dissect and, there's, the more like we can get nitty gritty, the more we're like, yes, let's go deeper. So I think that's just wanting to like have this episode to bring out and you having this awareness and like asking yourself those questions of like, how does my home feel? Like how does your home feel, Valerie?
Yeah. I mean, my home feels very calm and open. We have a lot of art on the walls, a ton of art. I love art. We have it everywhere. Literally our entire bedroom wall is art. I have pictures of me and Chris in different places at my desk. And I think one like right by the bed when I wake up. Yeah. The kitchen needs some work. The living room probably needs some work too. But it's also a small space and we have 2 fur babies. So yeah. But I think we do a pretty good job at making it a relaxing, calming space for us. And then I also do like smoke cleanses pretty frequently. Sage, Palo Santo, copal when we need it, cinnamon, whatever sometimes. Yeah. I did have a question for like your interior design clients. What does it look like when they sign up with you? Like, do you do like a reading first? Like what kind of, do you have intake stuff? Like how do you know where to go in terms of like design and what to pull out for them?
Right. Yeah. I have a whole questionnaire that they fill out and they let me know like, here's what I want you to work on. And then it goes a little deeper. Like, are you okay with me bringing in tarot and using your astrology and human design or whatever? some people actually aren't very comfortable with tarot. Well, okay. Tarot's pretty taboo still.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So I'm like, okay. So for the most part, that's the only one that I've gotten. It's like some people to be like, yeah, no, I'm good on that one, but I can do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then, well, otherwise it's like, well, then you can just go to a regular interior designer who doesn't do any of this stuff. Right. So, so yeah, there's an intake question. There's also like questions like, are you the decision maker? Is there anybody else that I need to be thinking about, you know, when I'm making this, you know, making decisions? Like, do I need to be aware of like, there's another person too to think about, consider? And then, I asked them what do they want to bring in any ancestry, like heritage type stuff to their design? And then they, you know, could explain that. So yeah, there's a whole form. I don't know how many questions, maybe it has like 20.
Nice.
They give me their birth chart information, and then the next session or the next step is to go to their home. And then what that looks like is I go and I visit their home and kind of, you know, assess the overall home. Like I need to see everything. Like don't just take me to the room, whatever we need to work on. It's like because I need to see the vibe.
Yes.
I need to see like, what is your design style? Like, and you know, then that way I'm like, okay, then that gets me to what that does is it classifies, are they traditional? Are they rustic? Are they modern? Are they everything? Are they contemporary? Because then I'm going to go into, okay, what era do I need to go into? Do I need to go to the 20s? Do I need to go into the Art Deco era? Do I need to go to the cowboy era? Like, you know, like am I, you know, so you, as a designer, you're always going back into like this. That's why we took so much art history in school. Because then it's like, okay, then these are the things, the patterns, but it's always like going back to genre.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, do you like rap? Do you like country? Like, it's the same thing with like style for the home. So then I get an awareness of their home, and then we, you know, I visit the space. Usually it looks pretty sad. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm here. And then at that point, I go back down, and then we sit, you know, with the client. And then that's when I do the reading.
Okay.
I don't do a full on like astrology and human design reading. It's more of just, these are the things that I'm looking at in those two specific charts. And we're going to go over that, you know, so then I can, you know, we can have a conversation about it or whatever. And then it is kind of, I guess it is kind of like a reading, but it's not, it's just very specific things that I'm looking at that pertain to the home.
Yeah.
And then after that, they're kind of just free to chill, or they can watch me measure their room. But I have to go measure the space
for sure,
just to get all the dimensions and all that stuff, because then that's what I'm going to be using as the template for like space planning. And that's also what I'm going to be using to mock up their room, and then also help me figure out like the furniture size and make sure that when I am sourcing, like I am not wasting my time, and that I'm getting a desk that I know would fit in the space or whatever it is, or a bedroom. So, and then from there we depart, and then I do give them a whole sacred home guide, which is very detailed.
Oh, nice.
It's like a 65-page whole thing.
Wow.
Very specific about them. So if they didn't get anything as we were talking for our, you know, maybe 30 minutes, then they can go back and reference that.
Nice.
Like always.
That's amazing. Yeah,
it's a
wow, what a perk.
Cool thing. And it's pretty. I'm so proud of it. And I felt like that was important, because it's like, I want to leave you with something. Like I don't want to, like, you can use this guide and you can now transform your own space by using these things, these tools. And I give recommendations and all this stuff for their, like, if they don't want to have me do their whole house and they want to DIY it somewhere else in their home, like, then they have a launching point to go off of.
Nice.
Colors, textures, crystals, like all the things. And then, so they get that. And then I basically go back and I source all the things, put it all together on a mood board. Right now, I'm kind of still working on learning this new software for the 3D rendering, which I think is really going to help.
Yes.
Really going to help.
Yeah, so, visuals are such a game changer.
Yeah, especially now you can video it. And so they're like, okay, like, woo. And it also is helpful for both the client and I, because one, I'm not, like, you're going to be more satisfied when you can visually be like, oh, I like that.
Yes.
Versus like, you don't know until it's installed, and then they're like, wait a minute, I don't like this. So, and then it doesn't waste money either. So I think that's something that I felt like is important to have and to, present a vibe. Some designers don't do that. Some just will do mood boards, but I felt like I want to go the extra mile and yeah, I do love design. I'm pretty like creative in that way. So it allows me to stand apart from everybody else. So yeah. And then basically it's only like 3 sessions, to be honest. The first one has to be in person.
For sure.
And that one is about 90 minutes to 2 hours, so hour and a half to 2 hours. And then the next one is like on the other 2 are like usually on Zoom, where I'm just like going over, here's what, the mood boards or whatever what we got going on. And then the next one is like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We ordered it. And they order everything. I don't. I just give them where I found everything and where I source everything. And then they go, and whenever they want, they can go do whatever with it.
Nice.
So then the last one is to where hopefully everything's installed. Actually, this is me going back in person. And that's where I do the whole blessing and cleansing of the space. And like we set an intention for the space. I get to get whatever videos that I need, things like that. And we sit down and, we kind of honor that space and like open up that chapter for them to embrace it or whatever. But if a client wants me to do all the other things and like they don't want to source, and then it starts to get outside of the original consultation fee that I charge. Right. But for the most part, everybody's been happy to be like, because also I feel like me giving them control of when they want to pursue that, like when they want to go buy all the things, because it helps with their budget,
of course,
and stuff like that. Course. So, but yeah, I do. There's a couple more things I want to do to consistently nurture them, like later on after I've designed their space, to still like nurture them in their home, and I need to like figure all that out this year. But I've been loving it. I've been liking the process. I think it's been it's been nice to play with it.
Yeah.
And cultivate it and grow it more. We'll see.
Yes. I, for one, love that. I think, Frida's going on in the background.
Yeah, because somebody's bumping it outside.
Yeah, they're having a party.
It's like, what time is it? 1:30 on a Monday.
They're having a good Monday.
Right?
I forgot what I was saying, but I'm excited to see your interior design stuff. And a couple of the clients, like the transformations that you've shown on Instagram, I'm like, I want that piece.
Yeah. I do probably need to which I do want to create like a dupes, like, okay, here's this look, but then here's where you can go find it. Oh, because also budget is an issue with people, and if you can find something that works within and that's another thing I do work with, for the most part, most budgets. So that's been nice. And what I do as of right now is I allow my clients to use my trade program discounts. Oh. So they get, discounts on paint, wallpaper, furniture, if places allow me to get that type of thing. Like, I don't mark it up or anything. Like they can get that at no extra cost on my end. So I'm basically a flat rate service. Here's what you're paying me. Here's what you're doing. But then I'm going to allow you to use, the benefits that I get. Okay. So that way it feels like I'm allowing it to be accessible. Yeah. Because I feel like, with interior design is a luxury.
For sure.
And it can be an investment if you do it right. Yeah. So, especially on a home that you own. But I want to remove those barriers. Mm-hmm. And so if I can feel like it's a good energy exchange, which I feel like for right now it is, then I want to make sure that I can have people have a home that feels safe, beautiful, luxurious. So why would I mark it up? Yeah. So I feel comfortable with allowing my clients to use my perks, because I love me a good perk. And I appreciate when people share their perks,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't be stingy.
Share the wealth.
But every designer's different, but that's just currently where I'm at right now. And and I feel like it's working for me. So I feel good about it.
Awesome. I love that. Is there something that, like a question or something that people can ask themselves either before they start designing things or during the interior design process?
A question that they can ask themselves, like if they're going to do it by themselves, like a DIY thing?
Yeah.
Oh, how does this room make you feel? It's a very, I don't know. I guess I'm a very vibey person, so I can walk into a room and feel all the things real quick.
Yeah, same.
So if you're that type of person, listen to those feelings. Your room, your home, your space does have an energy. Like if you're that person that can walk into the room and feel like an argument has happened, even though nobody's talking, then you're very intuitive. So listen to the energy of your space. If you are not, you're like a little, you're a little more like, how can I say, like more of a mental or like not so much of a feeling person.
Like a cerebral.
Yeah. Then I think it's like still asking that question, like, how does this room make me feel? Or how does my home make me feel, or whatever, my work office. It's like, it'll tell you. You just need that time in that space. You need to be able to sit in it and let those feelings come out, let those things come out. Like, like when I was speaking with one of my clients and she was saying, I really want to hang this up because it's actually important that my daughter sees her mom as, this woman who's powerful and accomplished all these things that only men do. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it wasn't until she voiced that out or how important she was like, oh, I didn't realize like that was important. It was bigger than me. It was about me and my daughter and what she thinks of me. So it's like just allowing those things to come forward. And I think that will help guide you on what room you need to more focus or you need to focus your attention on. Or, if you hate your desk, then throw your desk out.
Yes.
Who cares how much you bought it or it got, or your grandma gave it to you or whatever. Like, if it's not bringing you joy, and like our good friend India, she always talks, she's a joy ambassador. She talks about joy in the workplace. If it doesn't bring you joy, then let it go.
Yes.
Or going back to, what's the name the lady who, Spark of Joy.
Oh, something.
The organizer lady.
Yes. Wow. And something.
I'm blanking.
No, come up. I forgot what her name was. I forget.
Shout out to her. But yeah, she asks like, go through your closet and look at things and does this bring me joy? Or does this room light me up? Does that desk make me happy to sit down and go to work? Do my bed sheets feel luxurious? Does my bedroom represent me and my husband? Do my kids' room represent them or what I want for them? So like literally asking yourself those questions. So I think that's a good place to start. And it's free.
We love a good free resource.
Free resource that you could just get to know yourself question.
Great. So if someone wants to work with you for interior design, how do they go about it?
You go to my website and there is a tab it says Holistic Interior Design Services.
At lunasoulwellness.com.
lunasoulwellness.com. And it's a book with me consultation. So 20 minutes, you get on the phone with me, I chit chat with you, and you can pick my brain on like, am I the right person for you to work with? Are you the right client for me to be working with? And then once we get a good idea, then from there you can choose to work with me. And then at that point, at this point, it is like a flat rate of $1,200 for a certain space, not for your whole house. But with that comes a lot of, like I said, a lot of little perks and stuff. So and if going to my website's too hard, then you can find me on social media at lunasoulwellness.com. Luna Soul Wellness is my username on like most of all the platforms. But I love being able to connect with everybody and like have them. And also like go to my Instagram. I plan to share more about like little home tips that you can do and bring more of that out. Having some workshops around, making your own floaty the water, making your own bundles. We don't always just have to use sage because we know that everybody's using it and it's depleting the world. So there's other different smokes that you can do. So, the astro feng shui, like learning what corners and all that stuff in your home. So I'm hoping to share more, birthing things into maybe even a membership going forward.
I love that. Yeah. And your newsletter too, I feel like every now and then you'll throw in some like home tips, but there's a lot of like wellness tips in there throughout as well.
Yeah. So sign up for my newsletter if you really want to connect with me more on like an intimate level.
Cool. Anything else?
No, I think that was a good episode to wrap everything up.
Yay. Awesome. Hope you guys there was so many like tidbits in there, so many good things, but yes, like moral of the story is take care of your temples, your body, and your home, and your soul, most importantly.
Build yourself a sacred pyramid. I was going to say something. Oh, let me know if you have any questions about anything. Like, do you want us to do certain episodes more on like this home talk? So let us know.
Yes.
Because I think Valerie and I definitely want to cater these episodes to make sure that, one, they're knowledgeable, they're informative, they're supportive, and they're helping you. So let me know, let us both know. All of our contact info is below and wherever.
All of those places, all of the things.
Because your input is important to us, and we want to do some topics that you're interested in, if hopefully we can, bring them out to life so that you have more awareness and, you're getting something out of us coming together.
Yes. Yeah. So until next time, bye.
Bye.